Welcome to Help! I Have Kids. I'm your host, Pam Marshall, a mom of 5 and a pediatric occupational therapist with over 35 years experience. This podcast is designed to equip you with practical tools, insights from experts, and real life stories. Because at the end of the day, you are the head of your child's care team. Each week, you'll hear from pediatric experts and fellow moms like you that will help build your confidence. They'll offer clarity and empower you to make informed decisions that work for your whole family. Hi, I'm Pam with Help! I Have Kids podcast. This is episode 3, Gearing Up for a Great School Year with Caitlin Brown. In this episode, we are gearing up for a new school year with tips to start it off right. From picking the perfect backpack to maybe figuring schedules out, buying all the things you need for school and new shoes, all the things. Joining us is occupational therapist Caitlin Brown and mom, and she's going to tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I've been working in the school system for 10 years now.
Wow.
So long. I have a 9-year-old and a 3-year-old. My 9-year-old has some ADHD, anxiety. So I feel like I've been working a lot with teachers to kind of feel like what is working, what is not working.
Yeah.
How can I make this
So
better for everybody?
you're living it out, your professional life and your mom life merging.
Yeah.
And you know, I had that too. I raised 5 children and one of those had very severe ADHD and still does, but you know, it's a challenge as a mom.
I can OT anybody to death besides my own kids.
So
like,
true.
It's just impossible.
You need help.
Yes.
You're a mom that needs help, just like some of the moms listening need help. Well, our topic today is a lot of moms are thinking about back to school and how do I get my child ready? And especially if you have a new kindergartner, how do you get that kindergartner ready? But before we dive into all that, I'm going to ask you my favorite question is what's the favorite piece of advice that someone gave you as a mom? Like a favorite thing?
I think it was the village. Like get a village. Let the village help and be a part of the village and help other moms too. Yes. And that has been a real game changer.
It is. We need each other as moms. And, you know, you find moms that are farther down the road than you sometimes, or they've walked what you're currently walking and they're a big help.
You know, friends at work who have kids who are 30 and I'm like, I don't know what to do. He's 3. I've never had a boy. Why is he peeing in the yard? Like, what is happening? I mean, it's just, they're there for you always.
They are.
It's great.
I have a funny story about boys and pee.
Oh, no.
So because we had 5 kids, I won't say which one, but the one that maybe had the hardest time getting to one of the restrooms or one of the bathrooms in the house, just made it a habit as soon as we pulled in, would run out of the van, run to a certain bush in the yard, in the backyard, thank goodness, not front yard. And that was his pee spot, like all growing up.
Really
and that little half of the bush died, you know? It just was dead all the time.
Well, yeah, I've learned to let little things like that go.
Yes.
But yeah, I was mortified.
Yeah.
At first. But.
And turns out boys, they just love the outdoors.
They sure do. They sure do.
They do. Okay, so when parents are getting ready for school, what do you think? What are some tips they can do? Because the summer routine's so different than school. And, our little ones, they just cry when they're tired and miserable.
Yeah.
So how can we get them ready for school?
So some of my favorite things to do, especially for the little ones who are not used to school, those preschool, kindergarten babies, is kind of put up a visual schedule at your house in the summer. Let them change it. Like, hey, what do you want to do today? Do you want to go to the pool? Should we go to the library? And then kind of just have that schedule on your refrigerator somewhere they can see it. You don't have to reference it all day, every day, or be stuck to it, but just it's there. Because as soon as that baby gets to kindergarten, there's a visual schedule on the wall. Yeah. And it helps them kind of like know what's coming next.
What's coming next. That's a great thought. And what about, sleep schedules are so different in the summer and schools early for most kids. Yeah. Kindergarten and elementary school is very early in the morning. They're having to get up and
all day long, and there's no naps really. There's kind of rest time, but not really naps anymore.
Yeah. I mean, when they move into kindergarten, it's going to be rough. It's
Yeah.
going to be a rough, 6 weeks until they adjust to being awake all day and engaged all day. But you just have to give yourself grace through that time. I like to try to tell parents, just try to start a couple weeks before school. Just gradually, don't say anything about it. Just gradually start working to go to bed earlier. Don't say we're going to bed early to practice for school.
I agree. That's a really good strategy. A lot of times, don't announce what you're doing to your children. Just make it happen. And then there's no arguing.
And I think another thing that's really important, there's so much structure at school. There's a lot of open and closed-ended tasks at school. And a lot of times, if a kid's completing a coloring task at home, they can do that as long as they want, right? But if they're at school, they can't.
There's an end time.
And it makes kids so anxious at first. So I love to use a timer as we're getting ready to go back to school and just say, hey, guys, we have 10 minutes to clean up your room. It's okay if you don't get finished, but let's just do this for 10 minutes. And when the timer goes off, we transition.
I think that's great. I always loved using a timer as well as a mom. It does help with those transitions because it gives them a cue of, it's time.
And in kindergarten, there's a timer up all day, every day, I promise. It's on the big board, the IFP boards, which are like our new computer systems. And there's a huge timer up. So it's really helpful to kind of transition them that way.
Have that visual. That's so good. What about the school supply list? So most schools generate that supply list and the parent has to go get it, or sometimes they have packs of school supplies that the parents just buy. But, there's always parents that want to do the little bit of extra and buy extra things.
Sure, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't buy extra things that are cute little extra colored pencils or things for the student.
Yeah.
A lot of times we really look for equality at school and every student has the same thing. So nobody feels like, oh, they don't have that or, they do have that. But if you're going to buy extra things, you're buying Kleenex and you're buying Clorox wipes for your teachers.
Kleenex and Clorox
That's
wipes.
where it's at.
Great.
You will be very popular if you
And I also think how nice it would be that if a parent has extra money in their budget, rather than spending extra money on your child, ask the teacher what they need.
What do they need?
What do they need? Because that is a big gift for a teacher to get to purchase something they might really need.
Yeah.
That's a good thought. So backpacks.
Yeah.
Backpacks are a big one.
Yeah.
I think it's so funny to see a little tiny kid with a huge backpack on, but it's really actually not funny because
it's not. It's actually terrible, but it's also so cute. Backpacks are a struggle at school. The kindergarten classrooms especially have the little tiny cubbies. And so if we have a huge backpack that's too big for our kids, it's not fitting in the cubbies. They're needing assistance every day from a teacher to get help to get their backpack in the cubby. I say to go for the smallest backpack that fits exactly what they need. Less frill
and
is
so
better.
What do they need? They just need to be able to fit a folder, right? Like
a folder.
Like a regular folder.
Depending on your district, if your district has one-to-one Chromebooks, sometimes the Chromebooks will start coming home, but they're no bigger than the folder.
Right. So folder size, and maybe if they do pack their lunch, their lunchbox to fit in it.
Enough to and they also will bring snack typically in kindergarten. So big enough for those things, but just try to go the least amount of pockets, the least amount of zippers, and then practice with that before school. So if you give your kid a backpack on the first day and they've never unzipped a backpack or zipped it up, it's going to be an issue.
Right.
So just practice that before school starts. If your kid has trouble with that, like if they are a student who's already having difficulty with those little fine motor tasks, I always take a pipe cleaner, loop it through the little zipper part and make a little bracelet out of it, and then they can just pull with a more gross grasp.
That's a great strategy.
And it makes it easier for them.
And they get to open and close it themselves.
It's easier for the teacher. It's easier for them.
And pretty much that's a good thought for a mom to think about is, can my child do all these things independently? So whatever lunchbox you buy, backpack you buy, can they get in and out of it? Or the cute little containers that the food is in.
Those the bingo boxes, they're so cute and adorable, but they are so hard to open. Yeah. So like kids will be struggling at lunch to get them open. I always tell my preschool parents going into kindergarten, practice with baggies, practice opening your juice box, practice all that stuff so they're independent because they don't have that much time to eat at school.
And these are things parents don't really think about.
Mm-hmm.
They just think about getting the nutrition
Sure.
that they need in the lunch. They don't necessarily think about, there's no one there to open it.
Yes.
Like we're
and
used
I mean,
to
the
doing
teachers, you know, they're all over the cafeteria. They're doing their best, but there's so many little hands up.
Right.
And it'd just be way easier if they could just work on it themselves. And
As
then they could help a
independent
friend.
as they can be.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's good advice. Is there anything else you can think of that is helpful in terms of like what type of jacket to buy? That's another thing that sometimes kids struggle with.
Yeah. For jackets, I do think it's very important that your student always has a layer at school because sometimes it's very cold. And especially the little kindergartners, they get all torn up about that. But just make sure the same thing. It's an easy zipper. You have practiced with that zipper and he or she knows how to do it before school.
Right. It's easy to do.
Yes.
My kids always loved hoodies.
Yeah.
You have to make sure the opening's big enough to get their head through easy.
I know. Yes. That's
or
so true.
They can do that easy. And shoes, that's another thing to talk about because there are a lot of shoes that are complex or hard to manage.
Yes. The best thing for shoes, if your kid is not tying their own shoes yet, you're going for Velcro, period. Don't worry about it. It's going to be so much better for them when they're out on the playground or walking in line and having to stop and tie their shoe. Just make it as easy as possible for them in the shoes.
Good. I know one thing I really enjoyed as a mom was because I value a good shoe that they can run in. Because we OTs love recess and think it's so important for kids to get out and run and get their energy out. So we always made sure they had a
tennis
good
shoes,
real
tennis shoes,
running shoe. But some moms care about fashion, or maybe the kid cares a little bit about fashion. So what's your recommendation there? What are your thoughts there?
I mean, kids are resilient, right? I've seen little girls run on that playground in high heels, just getting it. But I think the best thing is definitely a closed-toed shoe if you can. And more of a tennis shoe that they can really just run and play. And
something with an arch support that has good support to the feet.
And, sometimes tennis shoes get expensive, and I totally get that. But that is something that's very important for them. So
it is.
Yes.
Really helps them. So to get dirty and to be able to run, those are two things that
so important.
At recess for them to be able to do that. And I think that's also something that maybe moms don't think about, you know? They don't,
it's true.
Because this is their first child going to school.
Yep.
And they don't know that recess is so important for them. That's good. So we went through backpacks and shoes. What's one final tip? Like, can you think of anything else that helps set your kids up for a great year? Like, is there any other tip you can think about?
I think not being afraid to speak to that student's teacher or not. I was very guilty of this. Hallie, my daughter with the ADHD, can sometimes be a lot, right? And I was just so nervous that maybe a teacher wasn't going to like her or she was going to be a lot to deal with. And then her third grade teacher this year has been just so gracious. And finally she said, "Caitlin, I love her. This is what I'm here for. This is what I do." And it kind of took me a second to be like, okay. And then I reflected on it and I was like, wait, that's exactly how I feel about all my kids at school.
Yeah.
Who their moms are probably so nervous about the same thing. And that's giving yourself grace and knowing that we love those babies and just let us love on them at school and just know that we chose that, right? We chose to be there and not to worry so much about, your kid. Nobody's kid's
That's
perfect.
really beautiful. I can hear your mom's heart after you received it from your child's teacher. And now our mom's listening that they can receive it from you.
It was a big moment for me. And
your babies are going to be loved. That's a good, loud message for sure. Well, there's a question here that I have in our pediatric therapy outpatient world, because we have school-based services and we have outpatient services. A thing that we get asked a lot is, how do I get my child signed up for preschool through public school?
Sure.
So can you talk a little bit about like private preschool versus public preschool
Sure.
and how to access those services and how to get parents thinking along that way? Because we may have some listeners who actually do have littles that want to go to preschool.
So typically in public school districts, or in mine specifically, I'm looking at, or the district is looking at, low-income students or students who do have a disability that would qualify. So typically what we do is the parent will look on the district's website and it'll show you your feeder school pattern, and then you just call that school. And you say, hey, I have a student who, and you do not have to wait until they're 3. So 3-year-olds is when preschool starts in the district that I'm in, but we like to get them evaluated and ready prior to 3. So we might evaluate that student, say they turn 3 in June. We might evaluate that student in June and be ready to go by August. So just contacting your school, that is your feeder school or where you should be going to school, where your kid would go to kindergarten. And then we would set up a referral meeting for that student if it was for a student that would need disability help. So,
and so what's an example, like for the moms listening, what would qualify as a disability? I know the testing gives a lot more detail about qualification, but in general, like if a child just had a mild speech delay, would that be enough?
It would. So occupational therapy is not a standalone service in the public school, but speech therapy is. So a student can just qualify for speech services and be able to come to preschool that way.
Yeah,
yes.
That's really great. Yeah, PT and OT are a little bit different.
Yep, we are only related services.
That's right.
Yes.
And we're going to talk about that in another episode with our psychologist, who will talk more about 504, IEP, those types of things.
Great.
But in terms of regular preschool, if you're choosing like a private preschool, how should parents go about looking at a preschool or getting ready for that? What does that look like?
I think, word of mouth is the best for picking a preschool. I will stand by that. We've gotten some really great recommendations, just from other moms. And I think that the best thing to do is pick 2 or 3, go see them and see what feels right. Just go with your gut. And your kid, every kid has a different personality, so they're going to fit in differently in different places. Right. So I think that's super important.
What might be some questions, like as a mom, what were some questions you would have asked of a preschool? Or
I definitely can remember this with Hallie, and Cameron is now at school as well, but he only goes a half day. Yeah. But I remember asking about movement. What was the amount of time that they were going to get to move throughout the day? What was the structure of the day? Because some kids benefit from more structure and some benefit from less. Yes. You know your kid. Mm-hmm. And then what was the requirement for like a rest time or a nap time, or how did that go? And then the last one, which is something moms don't think about, I swear, is, do I get to come to this school and celebrate things? Like if it's my kid's birthday, am I allowed in to the school with all these other kids to bring?
Good question.
Yeah, cupcakes and, because every place has different rules. So if that's important to you, that's something that I would definitely ask.
Yes, that's a great thought. I have been in daycares before that were sugar-free.
Yeah.
So that's a different thing.
I mean, in allergies, if you have, when Hallie was little, she was allergic to tree nuts. So I had to make sure school had an EpiPen and that they were trained to administer an EpiPen. So, all those little moving pieces like that you don't think of before, I would make a list of questions before I went and just be set and ready.
That's a very good idea, having a list ready to go. And if I were a parent thinking about preschool for my child, when would I start thinking about that? Like what time of year?
Oh, goodness.
What age?
For public school, that enrollment starts, I believe, in January, February maybe. But for private school, you need to be way ahead of the game, right?
Yes, like a year before.
Yeah, you need to be ready before you've even gotten married and had a baby. So, especially for the really great preschools. So just kind of having your ducks in a row early is important for that, I think.
It is.
Yeah.
That's very important because if most preschools are forming their list for the fall by January, February, and enrollment closes, and a lot of parents don't know that.
Yeah.
And they'll miss out if it's March or
Yes.
April, they've already got their
it's
classes set.
it's a very, structured but also kind of nerve-wracking process at
Yes.
first. But once you
Yes.
get it, you're fine. you know?
Yes. And I think back to what you were saying about your favorite piece of advice was the village, is that's why you want your village, because, having other moms that share their experience or where they've gone and what they've done is really helpful.
Definitely.
That's good. So let's talk for a minute if your child is struggling in school. And I think you and I probably could talk about this for a while because, my child with ADHD, your child with ADHD. So we wear professional hats and we wear mom hats.
Yeah.
And you never stop advocating for your child.
Right.
And we've been talking about how the mom is really the leader of the medical home, but you're really the leader of the educational home too. Not that we're excluding dads, it's just research shows most of the time it's moms in these roles. So for our purpose, we're just going to talk to moms that we lead that educational experience, and we also lead the medical home for our child. So, what are some things a mom can do if they really are seeing their child struggle, like coming home? And I know sometimes those ADHD kids hold it together at school and they come home and they let it loose on you and it's ugly. It's not fun.
So try to think of if you were a student and you might have these difficulties, you have sensory processing disorder, ADHD, anything like that. All day you are so overstimulated, right? And you're doing your best, but everything is so overstimulating. I have one kid who, she's the cutest little thing in the world, but she hates movement breaks because her class is moving around her and it's too much. And she really comes apart during that time. So if you kind of think about that, but that's happening all day. My favorite thing to do, I use this with Hallie, I use it with Cameron, and I tell parents all the time, kind of strip it all away. When we get in the car, I have quiet music, if anything on. It is relaxing piano music. There's a snack in the car. There's water in the car. We come home and we just take a minute.
Decompress.
Like they're, if they want to change clothes because my kids wear a uniform or whatever, get out of those clothes. Just get into your best self. And then we just have some quiet time for a few minutes. At first, that was really hard for my kids. They, not a fan, didn't like it. But then I think, especially Hallie, started to realize, okay, this is what my body needs. So I would just encourage moms, even if your day has been absolutely nuts, which mine typically is, when I get in that car, I am cool as a cucumber. And they kind of think and see, safe place. Everything is calm.
They feel it. They feel the calm. They feel the peace.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
I used to say I had to minister to my home when I was home ready to receive children in the door, to get the home prepared to receive them. So and then as a working mom, having routines in the morning that set things up so that when we did get home, it wasn't total chaos, but the home could receive us and we could have exactly what you're talking about, that transition, that time to go, that time to just breathe and settle. Yeah, that's really good.
It's a big deal.
And other strategies I know that worked for us in our home, like you said, a visual schedule always worked for my ADHD child. And it was pictures and what comes first, second, third. The other thing that worked beautifully about the routine of getting ready in the morning and getting out the door was setting things up so you move from room to room and you don't have to go back and forth. Like you don't have to go from the bedroom to the bathroom to the bedroom to the kitchen to the bedroom to the bathroom and back again. Like all that movement that your kids get lost and they can't follow that much direction. But you teach them what to do in the bedroom before they leave the bedroom. Then they move to the bathroom and then they go from the bathroom to the kitchen to eat. And then from the kitchen, it's brush your teeth right there. Like
Yeah.
we would do practical things like that so
Yes.
you could get out the door without having, and especially if you have a 2-story house, you don't want them running back upstairs.
Oh, and Hallie hates that.
Because they're
She
going to be
hates to go
lost
back upstairs.
if you have to go back. Yeah,
Yes.
they're going to be lost. So trying to get things set up in a
Yep.
way that they move through the house where it's sequential and not all this back and forth and back and forth.
Yeah, I also think it's also a good idea for like, so working moms, I'm getting ready while the kids are trying to get ready as well. So I will have Hallie's stuff set up in my bathroom. I
That's a
can
great
do
idea. Yeah.
I can be right there with her for every step of the way. So she's not singing to herself in her mirror in the
For
bathroom
10 minutes and
for
have
10
no
minutes.
idea what time it is.
Why? No, she is with me. She's got her clothes. I've got her hair stuff, toothbrush, toothpaste, and we are right there together.
Yeah.
And it's kind of fun. It's like our little time in the morning. She
ready
likes to watch me put on makeup and while I'm
really
yelling, get your clothes on, get your clothes on, get your clothes on. But I mean, still, we're still there together.
Sweet.
So I think that's pretty easy for her.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it always helps to do that self-discipline of getting ready the night before. I'm not an organized person, and so I really had to learn how to do that as a mom and had to learn some of those skills of sitting things out the night before, getting things ready, helping to make that morning routine a little easier.
Like all, signing the folders, getting the snacks ready, all of that happens at night.
Yes. And when they bring their Monday folders or whatever day of the week it comes home, I used to call it Monday folder day. I just would stand with the folder by the trash can and just go ahead and throw all things that
and then they cry.
And then they
say, why'd you throw that away?
know. Yeah.
Same thing.
I'd say, well, we can only pick out so many things a year to save. So
yes, I'm the same way.
Yeah. It really helps. It keeps the clutter down and keeps the backpack from being all cluttery and all those things. Do it as you go.
Yes. Organization is great.
What were some other things that help you navigate a child with ADHD? Because that's really common for a lot of people experience that. What were some other tips or tricks that have helped you?
There's been a lot. I started with, talking to her pediatrician. Then we started with a therapist for anxiety. She's been seeing her for 4 years now. Adore her. And then we kind of moved from there. So now Hallie takes medication. If you're a parent that chooses to do that, great. If you're not, also great. But I knew I kept trying to fix it myself. And I knew at some point I needed the village, right? Like, so kind of taking those steps and talking with her teachers at school, talking to her psychiatrist, and just kind of bringing everybody together as a team was the most beneficial.
Really good. And you have that professional background to know that.
Yeah.
But some of our moms listening, they don't know the first step.
Yeah.
So the first step is really talking to the pediatrician, you said.
Pediatrician.
And teacher.
Yes. The pediatrician helped me so much. She gave me exactly what to do, next steps. Here's the form I need you to give your teacher. Bring it back to me. Then, we just kind of went that way through it. But I also think you just have to be able to ask for help.
Yes.
And that's the hardest part.
And not wait. Like, you don't have to wait for your fall parent-teacher conference. If you know it heading into the year, maybe meet with your teacher before school starts.
I think I was going to mention that about if you have a student maybe that goes to a private school or maybe even a public school, and there's something that your child uses that is beneficial to them, talk to your teacher about it. Like Hallie has several things at school that I provided. She has the sit and wiggle cushion. She has some things like that help her stay engaged at school.
Yeah.
Her teacher was like, yes, absolutely, bring that. Teachers want them to succeed, so just don't be afraid to talk to your teacher about, hey, he's got this one little chewy that he loves, and it's going to save him from chewing off all his sweatshirts and being anxious all day.
Right.
They're going to be like, yes, absolutely.
Just bring it.
Yeah.
I love how teachers are really open. Many teachers are very open to whatever works for that student.
Yes.
So
yes, it's changed a lot.
It has, yes.
Like even in the 10 years that I've been in OT, it's changed a ton.
Yeah. They
Very
recognize
thankful.
that every student needs something different.
Yes.
And I don't know about you, but when I go to an all-day conference,
Mm-hmm.
I have a terrible time
Right.
sitting and
Right.
trying to pay attention because we don't do that,
Yes,
you know,
yes.
and we're asking our kids to do
Yep.
that. And so
Yeah,
you really
there's,
see.
you know, now they're standing to work, they're laying on their bellies to work. It's just
Right. So
it's
beautiful.
so much better.
I always say that an ideal classroom has a trampoline in the floor where kids could just walk over.
Literally.
The ones that need it. You know, the
Yes.
ones that are drooping
Yes.
and need a little pick me up.
Yes. And, you know, sometimes I have teachers, like, they'll get on to me. They're like, are you sure he can have gum? And I'm like, sis,
Yes.
did somebody tell you couldn't have gum
Yes.
at some point?
Yes.
If it helped you? No. Like, you let that baby have gum because
Right.
it's helpful. So just things like that are kind of out of the box and not typically okay for school.
Right.
Don't be afraid to ask your teacher
One
about
of the
that.
things I advocated for that honestly was such a gift to my ADHD child was he was able to listen to music. So even during tests, but we compromised, obviously, because he was a musician and in a creative school, but they allowed him to listen to music and we made it classical music. So I said, it doesn't matter. We just want, he needs that music to be able to focus. And so he listened to classical music even through his ACTs.
That's awesome.
He was allowed to have music in his ears. And that helped him focus. That's how he got through the test.
That's awesome. You'd be surprised. A lot of classrooms are utilizing, you know, the sensory videos on YouTube. They've got the music going. The lights are down or off. And it's just, the change is pretty incredible.
I love hearing that. Well, one last thing for us to talk about is the partnership between school and parents, and then also school and other professionals. Because sometimes, you know, if a child does have a lot of needs and they might have some medical professionals or people outside of school, let's talk about that for a minute. Because I know I'm a firm believer that we've all got to partner together.
Yes.
We all working together to help the child. And I just want moms to hear professional experience. And
I think a lot of times moms don't know that we can chat.
Right.
You know, if I have a kid at school and you have a kid here, all we need is a signed release and we are ready to chat.
That's right.
So a lot of times during their annual meetings, we'll say, hey, you know, would you like us to be able to talk with them? And they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that was a thing. So, you know, that's easy, right? It's the easiest thing to just get that release. And then a lot of times what we'll do, a kid that say has a lot of service providers or, you know, is kind of more of a complex kid, we will have team meetings and then sometimes the outside people get to come.
That's good.
And they are also, I don't want to misspeak on this, but I'm pretty sure I'm correct. They are also allowed to attend ARC meetings as long as that has been
requested, maybe?
Yes. Or like we knew before the meeting.
Yes.
So that is also a great thing. We learn so much when that happens. Like if a kid's ABA therapist comes to school for the meeting, we get great info. So it's really nice to be able to work together. And then we also have a couple of parents who we just have a big old group email and we are just constantly, you know, back and forth like, hey, outside OT, what do you think about this? And it's great because the parents on the email, so we can just all collaborate
together. It's very
super
helpful. And I was going to say that moms listening, that is the primary way I think that professionals communicate would be via email. I know there's a lot of moms out there that don't use email or maybe don't respond to email, but they really need to understand that is the professional way we communicate. So a mom initiating that and beginning to join people via email is a great solution to get people to collaborate.
Yes, it is great. A lot of times, too, we'll be able to problem solve just from the email, and then we can implement the interventions and kind of see what works, and then they're implementing them outside as well. And we can kind of bring that data together and say, what do we need to tweak, you know, here or here, and kind of make it work everywhere.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we are all in this together.
Yes.
And it's been so fun talking to you today.
Thank you.
Because I can feel just your mom's heart coming through and the love for the kids you work with as well as your own children and how we're just all in this together.
Yeah.
and we're supporting kids. Anyone who's in the profession of helping children should be so willing to all work together.
Yes,
We just have
absolutely.
the same thing in mind. We want kids to succeed and them to meet their goals and to be happy children that grow up.
Yes.
We want that.
There's nothing better.
Nothing better than that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Caitlin.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks so much for listening to Help, I Have Kids. If you're tuning into this podcast, that means you're a mom who's curious, committed, and ready to learn. And we see you. We'd love for you to join our Help, I Have Kids Facebook community, where moms just like you are connecting, asking questions, and encouraging each other every day. It's a space for real conversations, expert insight, and support from moms who get it, because we're all in this together. And if you know a mom who's feeling unsure or maybe overwhelmed, or just needs to be reminded that she can do it, she can advocate for her child with confidence, share this episode with her. We're building a village here, and we're glad you're a part of it.